this is the wide grip pull-up, okay? So you can grab there. So the main difference between a pull-up and a chin-up, obviously, is your hands are pronated, okay? So in a chin-up, your hands are this way. In a pull-up, your hands are this way. So for 2 or 3 main coaching cues, the first is to grip the bar as tightly as possible. The tighter you grip your bar and the more used you are to having a really solid grip, the faster you're going to get stronger on all your pulling movements. It's such a simple tip or such a simple cue that many people miss. So the second one is to drive your elbows down and think chest up rather than chin up. So you can see Nikki there is quite advanced at chin ups. So it's chest up rather than chin up. And that's the big mistake a lot of people make at the start, is leaning forward like that, and they end up getting less reps and finding it harder to get stronger. Okay. This is the chin up. So the chin up with a supinated grip is a lot easier than the pull up with a pronated grip. So while you're learning to get your first chin up, you can have eccentric pull-ups can be very, very helpful. So if you do your eccentric pull-ups for 1 or 2 months, and then you change to neutral grip for 1 or 2 months, and then usually when I do that with clients, they're ready for their first chin up this way. And if you're trying to get your first chin up, always use this grip. A mistake would be to try and get your first chin up with the pull-up grip, because it's a lot harder. Let's go 2 more reps, pull hard as you can, drive the elbows down. Excellent, excellent, finish it out. And you want it chest up rather than chin up, drive your elbows down. Super, well done, Nikki. This is the parallel push-up. So this is the push-up variation that I love using with clients the most. Once they've got stronger on dumbbell pressing and they've got their first 10 push-ups. So as you can see, the main advantage, or the main thing that makes a parallel push-up more advanced, is the range of motion. So you can see the big stretch at the bottom. Nikki can get really low to the ground, so a big stretch across your chest and the front of your shoulder. And to make this exercise as hard as possible, you want your hips in line with your shoulders or even a little bit higher. So if you are trying to get your first 10 push-ups, you might be making it easier by starting with the bench, on a bench with your hands up higher. And then you gradually go lower and lower till you're on a box, maybe just a few inches off the ground. Then when your hands are on the ground, you get your first 10 push-ups, and you'll be surprised at how often clients can build up to 10 push-ups on the parallettes or on dumbbells with the increased range of motion. So if you get yourself as lean as possible and you're doing all your presses through different ranges of motion and different angles on the bench, it's very realistic for most people to get their first 10 push-ups on the parallettes. Well done. This is the military press. So the most important part in the setup of this is that you grab the bar about shoulder width, which is individual to everyone. So if you have it in the right grip at shoulder width, you're going to feel a lot stronger, okay? And punch up. Okay. And what I want you to do is put your left leg forward and your right leg back a little bit, so split stance, okay? And punch from there. And I find the split stance for military press makes a big difference, because as the reps get harder, people start to arch their back a little bit more and it becomes very uncomfortable. Whether with the split stance, you don't really feel nearly as much pressure on your lower back. So let your elbows fold forward, okay, so they don't go flare out to the side, chest up. And once you get down to the chin, punch up hard as you can. Let's go one more. And punch up hard as you can. Excellent, well done. This is the face pull, okay? Let's step back a little bit. So a split stance again is gonna have you far more stable. And I just want you to pull up a little bit higher and head back a little bit more. So you can see there, the muscles in our upper back, our traps and our external rotators are working really, really hard, along with the muscles in your rear delts. So the main advantage of this, and it's a crucial exercise for your posture, is that it's the exact opposite position to your desk or sitting down looking at your phone, which we all do too much of these days. So as you're more bent forward like this with your palms down, the face pull is the exact opposite position. And up a little bit higher. So if you're to go from that position into dumbbell pressing or any type of pressing without doing external rotation work, it can be very, very hard on the shoulder and can lead to injuries. So always, I would do the face pull once or twice a week in my own program and with the program of the clients. So a seated or a kneeling or a standing version. Pull up high as you can again. Good, well done. This is the seated cable row. So one of my absolute favorite exercises that I put on nearly every program in some form. And I do every week myself. So put your hands to neutral first to start. Lean forward, chest upright, and drive your elbows back by your sides. So a couple of really simple coaching points with this will make a big difference. The first is not to be using too much momentum swinging back and forward, especially not in the first set or two. Maybe in the top set or in a drop set where you're going to failure, your upper body won't be staying as rigid as that, but generally you want to be in a fixed position without swinging too much back and forth. The second part, keep your elbows by your sides for that neutral one. If you were going with a pronated grip and your elbows flared out a bit, it'll be more upper back and less lats. But usually when I'm doing the seated cable row myself or with clients, I'm trying to do as much lats as possible. So keep the elbows tight to the sides. And then the final thing I love about the seated cable row is you can train it to failure, train it really, really hard, very safely. So chest up, shoulders back, drive the elbows by your sides. And I usually use a drop set on the final set of the day. So I'd go really hard for maybe 8 to 10, 10 to 12 reps, I'm done. And then I'd lower the pins by 20, 30% of the weight initially and go for a few more reps and drive, elbows back, squeeze. And it's one of the best things you can do for your lats, and the strength of your lats and how big they are in proportion to the rest of your upper body will dictate a lot of your shoulder health in heavier pressing movements. Okay, done. This is the standing lat raise. So this is an exercise that a lot of people will get confused with at the start or find it difficult to do the correct technique. So you can start your reps there. So the first thing is the starting position. So have your hands like this at the bottom. And if your hands are like this at the bottom, you'll find your technique, it's far, far easier to lift the weight and isolate your shoulders. If your hands are out to the side, you can find yourself using a lot bit more momentum and kind of flailing out to the side, which you don't want. So chest up, shoulders back. The second thing is not to use too much momentum. While it is fine to use a little bit of momentum later in the set to get to the last couple of reps, you don't want to be relying on it too much. And especially if you're new to the exercise and you're learning it for the first time, you don't want to get used to using momentum all the time. So your first set or two, always have perfect technique, and then if you need to push the envelope a little bit after that, a little momentum is okay, but as little as possible. Chest up, shoulders back. Good, well done.